Countdown. 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. And we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Creative Talk podcast with me, Jan Santos. And today we have a very special guest, guys, international business success coach, founder of the Billionaire's Success Formula. I want to be a billionaire. Very amazing human being. He's very humble, and I really respect this person. Let's all welcome Dr. Vic Manzo. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thanks for having me on, brother. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, yes. I said this off cam and I'll say it again. Vic, thank you. I know you're a very busy person, but you are here with us on the show. So thank you again. Thank you so much.
The pleasure's mine.
Yes, I'm excited. I know our viewers and listeners are excited to know about, the billionaire success formula. But before we jump on that, let's talk about, your story. I'm because my friend, I'm really excited to know about the process before you've come up with this success formula before the end point. Who or what influenced you to be in this position you are right now, inspiring people, motivating people, and really touching people's lives? Tell us your story. The floor is yours.
Love it. Yeah, I started out as a chiropractor, and I've been a chiropractor now for 12 years. And it's
Mm,
one of those things where I had no intention on being a chiropractor. I came from a blue collar family. So growing up, I was always looking at like a career that made money because I didn't want to have financial scarcity like I did growing up. And so I thought of like being a lawyer, but they read too much. I'm not into the whole fine detail stuff, just not me. I don't mind creating arguments, but the other part, no. Then there was, being an architect. I like drawings and I like not drawing, but I like structure stuff. So it was kind of cool, but maybe a chef. I like to cook, so there's the going back and forth. But then around 19 years old, I had a health issue show up. And little backstory behind that. My mom's a fitness and yoga instructor and
mm,
since I was 1 years old. So health to me, because of what I was conditioned and seeing, was exercise, eating right, taking
right.
supplements, nutrition, juices, smoothies, all that stuff. And so that's what I started doing in when I was 14 and getting into high school. So I was like, I should be healthy, everything. But there was a different course for me, different course of what was going on. None of that stuff was working. And long story short, this is where chiropractic came into my life
Right.
because um, I thought I had a blood disorder. I thought I was really scared. I thought I had a
Mm,
blood disorder. There was just so many things going on. And then my mom's like, why don't you go see Dr. Frank? It took me a month just to get into the medical doctor's office. And she's like,
right.
well, you maybe go see him first, before you go. If I can get in by like tomorrow or the following day, I mean, I've been waiting already 3.5 weeks. This is the stress and the anxiety of worry. It wasn't like you can go on Google and find things at the time.
Yeah, yeah,
There
yeah,
was
yeah.
stuff there, but it was nothing like it is now. And so anyhow, long story short, I ended up going there, and it was a game changer for me. It changed my life. I decided to become a chiropractor. So when I came out of chiropractic school, I was very ambitious to grow. I wanted to thrive. I wanted, just like anyone who starts a business,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I had a little bit probably more because of my background. And I followed all the business advice that I can get my hands on. I was reading 80 to 120 books a year. I was listening to podcasts. I didn't listen to music for five. I mean, maybe here and there, but it was mostly podcasts,
Yeah.
videos, books. I mean, it was just all I was downloading all the time because they said, oh, the more knowledge you have, the more money you make. It's like, okay, I'm going to do what I have to do. You have to grind and hustle. You got to work the very long hours. You got to just do all this work. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So, long story short, a lot of ups and downs in that process. But long story short, I ended up 5 years in, hit my financial peak, which I was like, this
Oof.
is awesome, man. I'm making all this money. But I mean, I wasn't happy. I was unsatisfied. I was unfulfilled. I was burned out every 4 to 6 months during this journey. So there was so much cost that thankfully, I had, ups and downs, relationships. At the last one, it was my wife now, but it could have been better during
Right.
that time. I was like, I was married at the end of this point. And it could have been better, but it was fine, but it could have been better. My health wasn't where it should have been, especially at the knowledge of what I know about health
Yeah.
and all these other things. So I wasn't living my best me. But yeah, guess what? I made all this money and I can go showboat that, and I could be an ego about it and show how much I make and what I did and
Right.
look how fast I did it and how I did all these other things, And but to me, I lead my life by fulfillment.
Mm.
I had to go through that first just so my ego could get in check and see how it's not all about growing to that level and being as fast as you can. Like what you hear on social media, right? You go listen to the coaches now. I'll make you a seven-figure person in a year or two, or I'll make you, 10K a month in 3 months. And there's nothing wrong with that. And some people, it's great to do that. Don't get me wrong. You're starting a business. You want to grow as fast as you can.
Right.
And I'm a coach, so I understand that. I help my clients do these kind of things. But it's one of those things that, I had a lot of trials and tribulations through this process to get to the point of where I'm at today. I ended up going bankrupt in my business in the first
Ooh.
year and a half, not my business, about a year and a half, 2 years. I had to make a choice. There was a lot of things that went on in my life, but I had to make a choice to either bankrupt my personal life because I put everything on credit cards. Business wasn't moving as fast as I needed to. Student loans were being really harsh at the time because during Rock October 2008, 2009,
Mm.
banks were nowhere near flexible and friendly like
Yeah.
they are now. They wanted me to make a payment. And I was like, I get a bill every month. I used to joke about this. I'm like, I get a bill every single month. And it's like a mortgage statement, probably a little bit, probably double from what I'm used to seeing. And I go, and I don't know, have the keys to the house. I don't know where it lives, but they just keep telling me I got to pay this or else. And so when they were like, when I was starting a business, I just needed that cushion. They just would
Right.
not budge. And so with everything else I did, probably, ambitious, but long story short, this is where the development of the billionaire success formula came, because I started to look at what's the advice is being told. I already
Mm.
understood mindset. I already understood neuroscience. I already understood quantum physics and all this other stuff, all the different ologies that I studied, neurolinguistic programming. And I was looking at this in my head. I was like, this makes no sense. We're being told to grind and hustle and work. Everything's about hard work and action. This information came from the 1900s. Rockefeller was one of the first
Right.
people saying about hard work. Henry Ford came behind that. And all these other pioneer people kept coming out
Mm.
saying hard work, hard work, hard work. That's what makes success. So it's been ingrained in our conditioning. It's been ingrained in our subconsciousness. A lot of people think that's what we have to do. And coming from the spiritual side, which is now quantum.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I was like, no, you don't have to. Like, you
Right.
define your life. If you're the author of your life, that should mean every single fabric, right? Well, no, you have to grind. And it's like, I'm going to test this out. So after our financial peak, I didn't like the way my office was being run. I had a coach who kind of told me, like, just accept where people are when it comes to health. And that just wasn't me. I'm a very big perfectionist. When I do things, I put all in and I want to see results for my patients, like fully. And that comes into one part of they have to be committed and they have to follow certain recommendations of what I recommend based on what I know. It's the same
Right.
thing like in coaching. I'm not
Mm.
going to take a client who's going to half-ass things. That's why if they're going to do that, I don't want them as a client, because I want people who are going to want to do the work and follow through. So long story short, we took a financial hit about 40% on purpose. On purpose. This was a
Wow.
choice. We looked
Wow.
at our office. We looked at the kind of patients that weren't following care properly. And we said, hey, we're going to be making some changes in the office. And one of those is we're asking that we're going to want to do some checks, maybe do a progress exam to see where you are, to evaluate where you are so we can see, and then give you recommendations that we want you to follow.
Mm.
And if you can't, that's perfectly fine. I get it. It's just, we may not be that office for you. And just when we respectfully, and as a doctor, you have to refer them to another doctor, so that way you're not having medical neglect. And we did all that. And but long story short, here's where the whole thing changed for me is I flipped the script. What I
Ooh.
ended up doing was, as I focused on my mindset and my vibe, and I only did maybe 10% on action.
Wow.
And I said, I'm the creator of my life. And I started to input all these things that I studied. And within a little over a year, we were right back to where we were. But
Wow.
I was working 50% less than what I was doing before.
Wow.
I never had burnout ever again. Now, did I have my 7-figure practice I always wanted to have? No, I didn't. But
Mm.
guess what, though? I chose what I wanted to make that was important to me.
I love
that
that.
gave me that freedom. Because as a chiropractor, even though I run my own business, the only way a chiropractor can make more money, like not more money, but well, that too, but make where they don't have to be in the office and they can be passive income is if they have another doc in the office.
I
If
love
they
that.
don't have another doc in the office, we are trading time. That's just our profession.
Mm.
That we can't make virtual adjustments. Chiropractic's not like that. And so I started to go, you know what? Even in the chiropractic, they have their own conditionings and stuff. And it was like, well, I'm not going to pay attention to sales. Who cares about sales? I'm not going
Yeah.
to pay attention to profits are important. But I was like, but what am I doing? I'm
Mm.
trading my time for money. So why don't I just focus on how much I want to make per hour and just say, this is what I want to make. I don't care if it's a second, because I only worked 14 and a half hours in my
Right,
office. I
right.
mean, I was very efficient. I wanted to shrink it down. So I looked and I said, well, how much do I want to make per hour? What do I feel that my value is worth? Forget sales, forget all that stuff. Just maximize my profit margins and look at what my this. And that's what I did. And that changed. From that experience, going through that journey, that's where the Billionaire Success Formula evolved. Because one of the things I learned, and you could become a billionaire with this. The
Right,
reason
right.
why I call it the Billionaire Success Formula is because this is what billionaires do. It is
Ooh.
not the advice of what you're
Right,
hearing in the
right,
business world
right.
at all. At least from the ones I've studied. I've
Mm.
studied a lot of different billionaires and multi-high hundred centimillionaires, and they operate at a different level. I'm not saying they don't work. I'm not saying they don't
Mm.
put action. They do all those things,
Well, you
but they've
mentioned
mastered.
about
Go ahead. Go
the
ahead.
yeah, you mentioned about the billionaire success formula, and you know, I'm excited. Our listeners and viewers are excited. You've opened up the the gate already. Now, tell us more. Let's jump and let's focus on direct to the point, straight to the meat. The billionaire, our topic for today's episode, the billionaire success formula. Take it away, my friend.
Yeah. So billionaire success formula, like I said, coming down to it all, it's a simple formula, right? So again, it's it's two parts that are going to be the biggest maximizer for your life. So when I looked at my life and I started to evaluate everything, all the ups and downs, 15 years of what I've done, there's two things that determine your success more than anything else. And that's going to be your vibe, which is the vibration of where you are. Now, some people say, what the heck is this guy talking about vibration? This could be your consciousness level. This can be the
Mm.
frequencies of what you know, all these different things are where you are. Everything in the world's made of energy. Quantum physics has proven that. And from the deepest level, in an invisible form, you can't see this world.
Mm.
It is all energy. And the way that energy vibrates gives it a physical appearance or experience in the physical realm. But all the things from the physical realm tie into this quantum world. And so, like, what does that mean? It's like lead and gold. The only difference between lead and gold is not the molecular structure.
Mm.
From the human physical perspective, you can say, oh, yeah, look, this is why the atoms align this way and this one aligns that way. And that's why. No, it's the energy of where it vibrates at first.
Yes.
Okay. So now what does that mean in your life and business and all that? Well, it's the same thing. You only attract, there's something called universal laws. And and everyone heard it from the law of attraction from The
Attraction, yeah.
Secret and things like that. But there's one law before that that allows for the law of attraction to work. And that is called the law of vibration. The law of vibration states you can only experience in your life what you're vibrating at. We've all experienced this. You all have done this in some way, shape, or form. And some people don't even realize that's what they're doing. Because if you had a radio and you're trying to tune into a station, that's like the law of vibration.
Yeah.
Because if you're just a slight hair off from the station you want to listen to, you get nothing.
Different, yeah.
Or you may hear a little bit of it, but it's so staticky, right?
It's not clear.
Not clear. But once you hit that right frequency, that right tune, bam, you got what you were looking for.
Mm.
And that's life. So the vibration side now we said, okay, so what makes up your vibration? Well, there's a few components. One of them is going to be your thoughts. What do you choose every single day, right? You have 50 to 70,000 thoughts that are going on through your mind all the time. That's what you're exposed to. It's the ones you choose, okay? It's not like you're forced to think something. You actually have a choice. The second is your emotions. How are you reacting? And where's your vibe at every single, emotionally wise? How are you feeling every day? Are you looking forward to it or are you not? Third is going to be what you focus on. So you can see something in a negative perspective, which can create thoughts and then an emotional response. You can have a thought that leads to emotion that leads to a focus. So they work both ways, but it's one of those things that's going to affect your vibe. And then one of the big things I teach a lot is vision. Now, some people say vision could be a mindset
Ooh.
thing. It can be, and we can have that discussion. But for my work, what I look at things is vision sets the tone of stuff, right? You're setting the tone, looking into who you want to become. What is that
Mm.
vibration like? So, and there's a whole thing I go through on that. So that's just one component of the equation. Now we multiply the vibe times your mindset. Okay,
Wow.
mindset is everything, like Buddha said, and so it's one of those things where we don't just look at how you're thinking or stuff like that. We get into limiting beliefs, subconscious programs, your
Mm.
wiring of the brain, how you've been conditioned, and so forth. And we start to do that work to break out of that. In my business, in the first 3 years, I mean, I was growing. I just wasn't growing enough and quick enough to cover my personal expenses and get me where I needed to be. But what I noticed when I was growing at one point, I looked at my bank account. It wasn't, there was nothing there. And I was like, I don't get this. I'm like, I'm making more money now. I have a disposable income a little bit. I should
Right.
have something building up after a year. And I didn't. And it was puzzling to me. And then there was a point where I said, man, I remember hearing about beliefs, and I know
Mm.
beliefs dictate everything. And I was like, what if I go look into, what if I have limiting beliefs I'm not aware of? So I started going through doing this kind of work. And yeah, lo and behold, I had a lot of them.
Wow.
What was interesting is once I did that kind of work, all of a sudden in the next 2 years, I 3x my business and sales, and I've already been in business for 3 years. This was monumental growth for me,
Right.
and on top of that, I 6x my profits in those 2 years.
Mm.
And I looked and I go, okay, so my analytical mind comes in and goes, all right, well, how'd that happen? We need to know the formula. What did you do? And I'm going, I didn't do anything. It's the same practice. We had the same, we didn't do nothing different. Like there was no like new marketing strategy. We didn't do
Right.
any of
Right.
those things. And that was the interesting thing about beliefs. So we get into the mindset side. Where's your headspace every single day, right? So we're getting in all that work. The thing about the formula though is you're multiplying your mind times your vibe, but that's squared. Okay. That's how powerful this is. Because now, let's say you take those two components and you double it, right? You get a total, you doubled it up. Well, you actually 4x your life because you're squaring it. Now, you have to take action. That's because you're multiplying by action. So that's the third part of it. But this is inspired action. So the way the equation is written, it's called VM squared. So you
Right.
multiply
Right.
VM squared times I equals S. That is the equation because it's inspired action. It's not action like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do this. Billionaires don't talk that way. They get to do things. They
Mm.
get to choose. They feel inspired. They only take action when they feel inspired to take action. And again, I'm not speaking on all billionaires, but
Exactly. Yeah.
majority of them that like I said, I've studied, this is how they live in the world. Like they spend 20 minutes imagining and visualizing their life,
Yeah.
right? That's the mindset component a little bit. So I have vision in the vibe, I have vision in the mind, the vibe side, but I have visualization in the mind side because you got to visualize a story within yourself.
Wow. Wow.
And so that's the first half of that equation. When you get that done right, then all of a sudden inspired action will come. You will
Mm.
be propelled to do something. This is because, again, law of vibration comes into
Yeah.
play.
Yeah.
Because when you're vibing in the right place, because mind and vibe, that's going to determine your vibration.
Right. Right.
So when you're there, then all of a sudden there comes a point where there'll be things you'll be feeling, an idea comes to you.
Mm.
Because when you're in the right vibration, you're going to start to attract. So let's say you want to have a 7-figure business, right? So
Business.
that's where you want to be. Let's say you finally got this all mind and vibe figured out to where you get it there. Well, the bank account doesn't reflect it yet because we got physical stuff we have to go through.
Right.
But what will happen is, though, when you get to that vibe and you're there, all of a sudden you're going to have an idea that comes to you and you can't ignore it. Or you're going to meet the right person who's going to help you grow in that level.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
you're going to have the circumstance that comes up that actually be a breakthrough for you. Or, you know what I mean? It's like there's so many infinite possibilities. But what people do in business, and I made this mistake, and so many
Mm.
business people do make this mistake, is they want to control what they see it's going to be. I'm going to do this, and this is where
Ooh.
we're going to go, and this is how we're going to make it happen. And what you're doing is you're, and I did this too, you're limiting the endless possibilities that are there because you think you know better than the universe.
I think it's
And so,
the human nature, taking control. That's something that as a human they always want to be in control.
well, the one thing we fear the most is uncertainty.
Yes.
So it makes perfect sense. And but there's this beautiful process, right? So I always use this example as like David versus Goliath, the
Mm.
story in the Bible. It's one of those things where in business. So if we use common advice, and this has been going on for 15 years, I've been studying this stuff for 15 years. It's the same messages in self-help, personal development. It's the same stuff in motivation speaking. But I always share the story. I'm like, if we think about common advice today, it's like David's facing Goliath and he's finding every single stone he can possibly find. He just keeps throwing and throwing and throwing and throwing and throwing. And then hopefully he hits it. Maybe, hopefully, who knows? Does he have the energy to even do it? Who knows, right? The other process, the Billionaire Success Formula, just goes, he gets into the right mindset. He's visualizing him not defeating, right? Maybe he wants to do it he's thinking, I got a sword I'm going to create, and I'm going to build this battle axe. And he thinks that's what's going to be, right? Because he's thinking.
Right.
And then all of a sudden he gets into this vibe state and he's in the moment. And all of a sudden he sees a rock and he just feels so inspired just to grab it. And then he feels inspired to just throw. So he does it all. And then all of a sudden he knocks out this big mammoth with this little stone, right? And it's like, how the heck did I do that? Because it was all aligned the way again, leaving it open the door to what you want to. And when you understand the quantum world and you understand these things, you really are in control. It's just we want to have that physical force control, which is a whole different energy.
Love that. Those are knowledge bomb after knowledge bomb. Vic, we have a message from Instagram from Ann Marcus. Basically, the question revolves in a tip. Any tip that you can share for a startup entrepreneur, small entrepreneurs starting this journey based on the Billionaire Success Formula?
Yeah, I love this. So a couple things. The first is your why. Now, this is a cliche, but it is a vibratory effect. It does affect your energy. Never forget your why and why you started. What's the purpose of it? And be like a 3-4-year-old. Keep asking why until you get to that point. Right. What that does is we want to make sure we're keeping the subconscious in check in the programs. I call it the matrix, but it's the constructs that have been developed that when you choose a business, why did you choose it? And we want to get crystal clear with that.
Right.
Because like when I first got into chiropractic, I wanted to help save a ton of people, but I also want to make a 7-figure business because I had a scarcity mindset. And why did I revamp my whole entire business around? Was because I finally realized, why am I almost wanted to leave the profession. But when I got clear, then I said, man, why am I doing this? Why do I show up every day? What's the purpose?
Right.
Who do I want to serve? And I got real crystal clear with that. And what I found out, I'll even share this, I started to remember myself as a kid and all the health issues I had. The mom who felt hopeless, who didn't know what to do, to the dad who was trying to make ends meet. So I started to look at my journey and my story. And I was like, I don't want no kid to go through that. On top of all the other stuff that was going on with autism and ADHD and all these things I could rattle off.
Yeah.
That was what the most meaningful thing was for me. So start there, have that vision then of what it is you want to create. Now, vision is a work I do with all my clients because it's one of those things that you're the way the mind works. Use this to your advantage.
Yeah.
Okay. Your brain, your subconscious cannot tell the difference to what you are actually experiencing your physical reality to what you create in the mind. There is no difference. It can't tell. It just can't. So why not use that to your advantage and start creating and visualizing every single day, you, the individual, not having things, because that's a trap. You get into a mind of like, I'm going to have the car and I can see myself in a nice car. There's a purpose to that. I'm not saying there isn't, but you're creating attachments to something. Because if you don't get that car, then your mind thinks, oh, well, this wasn't great. So it's just the energy of the feeling of feeling like excited. What
you're
you
ready.
See happening.
The feeling of that you're ready, right?
Yeah. And feeling appreciative and being grateful to be able to have that opportunity, be able to do that and start that up. And, starting up, it's not fun. It's up and down. It's a roller coaster. Business is a roller coaster. You have ups, even no matter what season you're in. It's different headaches along the way. I used to say, again, my limiting belief, right? I thought, man, billionaires, they have no money problems, right? They're billionaires. They don't have any money problems. And that's such a wrong thinking, because then one day I was reading a book and it talked about Warren Buffett. And he goes, he has money problems. They're just different than mine. Just because they're different, it doesn't mean that he has no money problems. He does. He makes investments. He loses on investments. He wins on investments. He loses. His losings are way different than my losings. Let me tell you. So, but it's sticking to that vision and understanding the why behind it. You get crystal clear with that. That is a huge energy component that will help you along the way.
Very powerful. Wow. That is another power pack tip. Thank you, Vic. The billionaire success formula is amazing. That follow up tip. I mean, I'm excited to know where to get the book, the sources, and everything, but that will be later. But I just want to say, you know, I know our listeners and viewers are excited, but I myself, I'm blown away. I love that you really, you broken the normal thinking of how to be successful. And it's nice because it's something that we, not only businesses, not only entrepreneurs, but people running their lives, this is something that we need, that could really change the way we go and continue this journey of the thing called life, the success, the triumph, even in failure, right? I love how your equation, the formula, can really revolutionize and hopefully make things better for everyone. So thank you so much. I'm beginning to, to be a fan more. No, because I love the concept. It's very straightforward, but it will really change how you look on things, right? Business and beyond. And this is something that will not happen in an instant. It's no microwave thing for this. That's the reason why I love that you mentioned a while ago that you spend time reading, watching, listening, you know, listening to people, listening to podcasts, reading, getting all those materials, because that's where you consolidate and you make an analysis of everything that works and not. And that's the product, the output is the billionaire success formula. Again, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that valuable, life changing powerhouse resource. Thank you, Vic, so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure, man. I'm my pleasure.
But we're not done yet. No, no, no. We are not done yet. We started with, knowing about who you are, and we followed it up with the powerhouse formula, the billionaire success formula, and then a tip. It's very serious, very life changing, very focused. Now it's time for us to play a game. All right. Are you ready, my friend?
Yeah, I'm walking into the unknown. Let's do this.
It's a tradition here in the show. We call it the creative fast talk. I'm going to ask you questions, and you are not allowed to spend much time thinking what the right answer would be. First thing that comes into your mind, boom, shoot. Are you ready?
All right, this could be scary. Let's do it.
All right, question number one: the beaches or the mountains?
Man, it's a tough one. But I'm gonna go with mountains. I like
Dri-
beaches though too. Yeah,
oh, yeah, okay. Passenger or driver?
driver,
Superman or Batman?
Superman.
If you were an animal, what animal would you be and why?
I'm gonna go with jaguar. That's what's coming to my head.
Go. Why?
Huge home, 200 and some odd square miles they live around, and they're just they're a mystical feature. Yeah, I
Mm.
never want to see one in the wild, but they're just so mystical.
Yeah, I totally agree. Apart from, all of the other family of cats, right? They're so mystical and they're so majestic. Love
And
that. Love
scary,
that.
but
And
that's a whole nother
well,
thing.
yeah, they're gonna rip you apart. So yeah. Next, what is something always inside your bag when you were a little boy?
Inside my bag,
When you were a little boy, if you remember.
I don't even remember. I'm gonna say an eraser. I really don't remember. I don't even know if I had a bag. Yeah, I did have a bag. I'm gonna go with an eraser. I had this little pink
Eraser. Okay.
eraser, and I remember seeing something like that. I used to play with it.
Right. What is the weirdest food you've tried so far?
I'm picky. The weirdest. I wouldn't say. I know. I'm very easy. No. I don't know. I don't know
In
what
your
we considered
travels,
weird.
in your travels outside the
Never. I
country.
mean, I know a lot of weird food that I won't touch. I had a friend that had mealworms. I'll never have that. People have grasshoppers now and stuff like that. I won't
Yeah,
do
fried
that.
grasshoppers.
Nothing. Nothing. I had a fish one time, but I forgot what the name of it was. It looks
How
so
was it? How was the
weird.
experience?
It was good. It was actually it wasn't my flavor, but it was weird because the way they had to open it, when you open it up, and it's like all dirty water in there, and it's muddy, and I'm like, who even found this to eat these things? And I forgot what they call it in Italian, but
Mm,
and I remember like, yeah, but it's so good. I'm going, just what I saw you guys do the process that
right.
it was like all spiky and it was round and it's not an
Oh
urchin, it's something else.
yeah.
And
I know
it's
that. I know that. Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
yeah, I didn't enjoy it. That's probably one of the weird. I mean, again, I'm very picky, so I don't
There's a
go to the
way
weird
how
too
to
much.
eat that, by the way. There's a proper way of how to eat that.
Yes,
All right, next. Movies and popcorns or dinner and dancing?
dinner and
Movies and
dancing.
pop. Okay, so dinner and dancing is the answer, right?
Yep.
All right. What is your dream superpower and why?
My dream superpower. Now, what I want to have or what I have?
It's up to you. Yeah, you don't
Okay,
have.
cool.
Yeah,
One of the things I'm really good at is visionary, creating, again, visualization, and um, and it's important because, like I shared earlier about the neuroscience behind it when I learned
mm,
that. So I spent a
mm,
lot of time trying to visualize and create things in my head, and it's so cool when you play in this world. Yeah, it's
right.
amazing how it shows up.
Wow. This last question can lead into something serious depending on how you take on it. All right. If you have the power to bring back someone back from the dead, who would it be and why?
Ooh, I love this. Lao Tzu.
Mm,
Now, those who may not know who he is, he's the founder of Taoism. But if you ever read
yeah.
the Tao Te Ching, which everyone should read, um, his advice is well, yeah, him or Nikola Tesla, but because they're both at the same level for me.
Right.
But Lao Tzu, his advice is like 2,500 years ago, still present to this day, still absolute truth. Not would say absolute
Yes.
truths, but it's
Yes.
something that it's just amazing, and I would just love to like just hang with him,
Right.
and
Right.
just pick his brain. Like, sure, it's not what he had in his mind; it's how he felt. You could tell it comes from a different energy, and
I
there's
was
something
about to
about
say
those
that. I
truths.
was about to say that, it's not about what they teach and what they say, but, what's playing in the thought process. I love that you mentioned that. I love that. There you have it, guys. Vic Manzo and the Billionaire Success Formula, his story, tips, values, and now we know that in one point of Vic's life, he was in a position with a fish that we don't know the name and we don't know how it was cooked, but he was pretty disgusted.
Yeah, I think they call it like a roost or something like that. But that's the dialect term. I don't know the proper term.
Thank you, Vic. Thank you, Vic. I mean, you are an awesome human being. I know you have a lot of releases, online releases, projects that you want to promote, your social media accounts, any content that you want to share. The floor is yours. Please do promote.
Thanks, brother. You can find everything on my website, empoweryourreality.com. That's where I have everything connected. If you're interested in what I shared on the coaching side, learning the billionaire success formula, how to implement it in your life, I do a free call to see if we're a good fit. I get to learn more about you. But then also, if I can help, if I'm that person, I share that. And then if I am, I'll share the coaching side. My social media is on the bottom left of the website. I have my podcast on there. I have my books you can get on there. I got classes, mini courses, and things like that you can find on there. It is the hub, so check it out. If you follow me, if you have any questions, you always can reach out. I love hearing from people.
There you go, guys. Please do connect with Dr. Vic Manzo. I'm sure he can help you in your journey towards success. Always remember, guys, have a positive outlook in life, smile, and God bless you. Bye.